na mute i mic off i u suštini mislim, ako neko zna da koristi click meeting, da ste vi.
Ne, moj. Nisam baš, ne, ali nema veze.
Jeste kako niste. Jeste vi ručali?
Ne, nisam stigao. Ali dobro, nema veze. Jedem, mislim, vidi se iz priloženog.
Pa kako je tako jedete? Šta jedete?
Ne pitaj bolje, ćuti. To ćemo na drugom webinaru.
Ok, na drugom webinaru, sada da čujete, special event.
Evo, Voja kaže live smo.
Vidite.
Teodora, lepa si, kaže Valentina.
A ja? Valentina, ja.
And me, what about me? So let's switch already to English because we already
absolutely live. Vojo, thank you so much. That happens when someone enters the event. So hello everyone.
I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not sorry, because now we'll have a small warm-up. So
yeah, sure.
The question is, what did you have for lunch today, and are you drinking your coffee? Because I am.
And I answered, you don't want to know that because it's not really healthy what I'm eating, but I'm trying to be better. So let's see.
I'm sure our attendees are eating healthy, and they'll have the concentration for the important topic we have today. 100%.
I think so, yes, I'm sure, yes.
I see some familiar faces. Hello, Richard. It's really good to see you here.
Nice to meet you again. Hello.
You love eating non-healthy food. No, Richard, no. Switch to the healthy one for concentration, I promise. We need concentration for today because Darko has prepared some really special stuff for us.
Hard stuff, yes.
Yes, something we need to put our mind to. So I prepared my energy drink and I'm ready to learn about this topic even more today. So it's really good to have, it's really good to see we have more people joining us minute by minute. We have 2 more minutes to start. So if you need like a break or something now, that's
to grab a good popcorn or something like that. Small snack.
Yes.
You know, during one of the last lessons that I had during the master classes, somebody told me, "Hey, you are not making breaks at all," and I had a real pressure. I had to go to the restrooms. I'm sorry for that. So sometimes it's good to do all those things before the classes are starting. Yes.
Yes, 2 more minutes to go because when Darko starts talking about this topic and he's really passionate, there's no stopping. So who knows? We'll have dinner after this.
I promise I will take care of the time, so it will be okay.
Richard is getting excited for the event or for the dinner or for both. I think we can say both, 100%. I see more and more people joining second by second because we're close. We're getting close to 3 p.m. Since we are starting in a minute, I would really love to hear where you guys tuning in from. Are you in Europe? I know Richard is in the States. Where exactly? What city? What state? I'm tuning in from Novi Sad, Serbia. We have a beautiful day here today. We have some spring.
Hamburg, Germany.
Let's see.
Am I only one from Germany? I'm sitting in Hamburg in the moment. Oklahoma.
The center of retail technology in the world.
This is because Richard is living there, so that's why it's
exactly. I actually would invite everyone who is here today to check out one of the interviews I've had with Richard, as he is the wizard of retail industry, and we like to say not Wizard of Oz, but Wizard of POS. That's a really good phrase for him. So definitely check it out on our YouTube channel, Wizard of POS. Yes, there you go. So since it's 3 p.m., I would like to officially start and wish everyone who has joined us a warm welcome to today's special, absolutely special webinar. To everyone who has joined us in the last 30 seconds or so, you see here Wizard of POS, an artistic name. So before we start, I would really love to hear where you're from. and how did you hear about our webinar? What's your artistic name? Basically, let's get to know each other during this event. That's also really, really important, so we can continue to grow the community about this important
network trouble, so Theodora is, I think, away. Can you at least hear and see me? Oh, Theodora is coming back, so that's good. Nice to have you back.
Okay, that's I'm here. I think I'm here, and I am. You're confirming.
Yes, you are.
So before we start with the official part, please confirm. Do you see us? Do you hear us? I see Paula saying that Paula. Hello, Paula. Maybe so attendees cannot use camera at the moment, but we'll have the opportunity to ask questions in the end. So the question for now is, can you see and hear me and Darko? Thank you for the feedback. Hello, Paula. Hello, John.
Hello, everyone.
It's really good to see everyone joining us here from around the world, if I can say. A lot of people from the States, Europe as well. Hello, Dragane. Hello, Danilo. Perfect. So to officially introduce myself, my name is Theodora, and I'm in the marketing department here at Fiscal Solutions, and I'm your host for today. So please, for any logistical dilemmas, definitely write in the chat box. And if you have any additional questions regarding this webinar or something else, definitely do not hesitate to contact us on our email so we can get in touch. I will start with the introduction for the day. I'm really happy we're here, and we'll have the opportunity to listen to Darko share his knowledge on this really, really important topic, and that is blockchain technologies, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs in modern retail industry. With that said, I will just slowly start to introduce ourselves as a company, and after I do that, we will have the chance to hear Darko on this topic. Definitely write down your questions. I'm sure some of you have them already. And in the meantime, during Darko's presentation, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, and also in the end to tune in and ask questions. So definitely write them down. Sometimes we forget during the lecture to write down, and then later we forget. So to continue, I will let you know a little bit about Fiscal Solutions, who we are and what we do. I'm pretty sure many of you already know that, so it's really good to say hello again to all the familiar faces here. And for everyone who has joined us for the first time, you will get to know us a little bit better. We are a software company producing fiscal solutions for the biggest retailers around the world. We are based on deep knowledge of retail and technical processes, and that makes us unique, the combination of these two topics. I see people writing in the chat, just yes, you can see me and hear me well still. That's really, really great. For the fiscal journey that we offer full transparency from information all the way through consultation and integration up to local support. So everyone who has a need for some part of the fiscal journey, we are there to support you no matter what it is, whether is it getting the right information, whether is it explaining the information, having the solution, or local support. We are a trusted business partner for more than 70 biggest retailers and POS software providers around the world. You can see some of them on the screen. Some of them are already also in the audience. So hello to everyone again. And like I mentioned at the beginning of my introduction, definitely let us know why have you come to this webinar. I know that I invited you, so thank you for coming. But besides our invitations, definitely let us know what is your expectation from today's webinar and what are you looking to find out, because once we know that, we can definitely make sure that we deliver on the expectation. Hello, Anna. You don't hear me. Am I right? I'm not sure why. Do other people hear me? I apologize for technical problems. Sometimes
I can hear
they're
you quite good, so I don't know.
okay. Yeah, Anna. So you can definitely maybe try
Richard as well.
mic and headsets or something else. Thank you for letting us know. About our knowledge, it definitely comes from the experience, since we've had more than 500 consulting workshops, more than 5,000 installations of our fiscal solution, and more than 18 integrations with the most famous POS software providers. And to completely explain you the fiscal journey very briefly, I will explain how the fiscal journey goes with our products in 4 very simple steps. Number 1, get the information by subscribing to our fiscal portal, where we daily update all legal and technical business documentation for all the 18 and now even more countries, with Spain as a new country on our portal. So at the fiscal portal, you can get all alerts and news about important fiscal topics. Stay up to date and be the first one to know them, since we have 9 fiscal experts working on this portal daily. So once you have all the information, step 2 in the fiscal solutions fiscal journey is definitely to have that information explained if you need it. And that would be a country workshop, which is pretty unique since we have a combination of 2 consultants, legal and technical. And then, of course, if there is a need, integration with our middleware, which has one interface for 17 countries and where all future legal changes are included, as well as step number 4 in our fiscal journey, and that is a fiscal hotline, which means monitoring of all transactions and local support, even if it means support during local audits, for example. So to everyone who is here, I'm not sure if the fiscalization part is something that is interesting to you, but now if you maybe didn't know what fiscalization is, you can follow it through these 4 very, very easy steps. And if you now know what is fiscalization, let me know in the comments below, because that means that my explanation worked for you, and I would be very happy if that is the case. To not take any more of the time for Darko's presentation, I will slowly introduce Darko as our co-founder. We like to say, and that is the truth, Chief Vision Officer, as one with the vision and always with strategies of what's coming next, and definitely an expert in retail industry. So with him being a crypto fan, this makes him a perfect speaker for today's topic. So Darko, please. The stage is all yours, and welcome to today's webinar as well. I will turn off my camera and my mic, but I'm still here. So to everyone, I will see you soon.
Thank you very much, Theodora. This was great introduction. And I'm sure that now lots of you have a big question in their minds. The company like we are, which is actually producing the software for the traditional world, let's call it like that, is talking about crypto space, about crypto topics. How comes? What is the reason for that? And why are we doing that? So I promise you I will answer to this question very soon. But let me first give you a short overview about this session and why it's so special. First, this is for the first time combination of 2 kinds of sessions that we have. First, it's a typical and standard webinar. It's like something that we are doing since many months. But on the other side, it is at the same time the 6th lesson of our masterclass, which is just running now. And this masterclass has the same topic. It has topic blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs. And we decided to join these 2 kind of sessions, means webinar and masterclass, in one. So this is one, that's why it's very special. And we have lots of students from the class today attending this webinar. So I'm very happy about that as well. Then the next very interesting thing, you see this small cat on the screen, I'm sure. This is an NFT. And I'm sure that you are thinking now, okay, maybe it's a nice picture or not, but what is it actually? And why is everybody going crazy about these pictures at the end? I promise you I will answer this question as well. But in this relation, or in relation to this particular picture, I want to tell you that you will be able to win this NFT after this webinar. So I will, somewhere around the last slide, I think, or second last, I will tell you what you have to do in order to win this small guy, this small cat, this NFT. And to be honest, on the right side, you see the value of this cat. So it's a 0.034 ETH. ETH is one of the cryptocurrencies that we will talk today about. And the value of 1 ETH is around $2,600, something like that. So this means the value of this small picture is around $100. So it's quite okay, not bad. During the webinar, we will answer the question, why is this value there, and who see the value, and who is ready to pay that money, or even much more money for such topics like the small JPEGs. Before we go into the detail about technologies, let me just give you an overview. What are the topics that I want to talk today about? First, I will not tell you the stories about Adidas, about Nike, and about all those great guys which are implementing unbelievably interesting strategies in the metaverse, related to the NFTs and so on. But we will analyze their strategies from the technological point of view. I will try to give you my opinion, or our opinion. Why is that so interesting for all those guys? What is the value that they see in those concepts, and why do they running that? Why is everybody going towards metaverse, and why is everybody trying to create some kind of great NFTs? So I will discuss the technology topics as well. So because you have to have some basic understandings. I'm sure that you already know lots of things, but I will give you a little bit different perspective so that we have common understanding what is blockchain, what are the cryptocurrencies, and of course, what are the NFTs. I can promise you that I see these topics differently than you can see it around the internet. And the guy that you can hear in my background, this is Sam. Sam is a big dog, so sorry for that. Maybe I will invite him to join us. Okay, so let me slowly try to answer the question, why is the company like Fiscal Solution, which is producing actually software for the traditional retailing, why are we talking about crypto space, and how does it make sense at all? I can tell you that since metaverse exploded a couple of months ago, the retailers started asking us about several very interesting concepts that are related to the fiscalization. So it means related to our core business, but related to the metaverse, NFTs, and so on as well. So one of the questions that we got and still getting is the questions, are the transactions where I am selling NFTs fiscal transactions or not? Basically, it's not that complex, you would think, of course, but it is actually. It's depending where are you selling it. Are you selling it on the POS, traditional POS in the store? Are you selling it as an e-commerce solution? Or maybe even are you selling it on the kiosk, which is installed somewhere in the store? So depending on the way how you use metaverse and how you sell the NFTs, the question is maybe yes, maybe no. So, but to be honest, nobody really knows it in the moment. So we were forced to tell the guys that are asking us this question, sorry, but we are not really sure. The next question was related to the cryptocurrency. They asked us, can we use cryptocurrencies on the POS? And we had to say them, from the fiscal point of view, fiscalization knows just one currency, and this is the local one, which is official one. All others would be some kind of exchange business. And exchange business is usually regulated by different laws. So that's why we were not able even to answer this question. Cryptocurrencies by itself are in the most countries of the world not yet regulated. So even the question, can I do that, is not really easy to answer. We had to admit, I'm sorry, we are not sure. The next question was related to the NFT sales and e-commerce. If you are talking to the retailers, and or not just to the retailers, to whomever, and if you ask them how do they understand metaverse, they could tell you that they understand metaverse as, let's say, online shop with nice 3D engine and nice graphic interface. And it's true, it's basically that. And if you sell something in that metaverse, it could be treated like an e-commerce perfectly. But now let's think about what does it mean from the fiscal point of view. if you want to, for example, if you want to calculate VATs on the e-commerce stuff, on the e-commerce transactions in Europe, you have to take care about country of origin of the end user. So this means the VAT rates which you have to calculate are those rates which are valid in the countries from which is the customer end user coming. And now in the metaverse, you have to know that you could access the metaverse totally without name, address, and everything, totally anonymous. So nobody knows who you are there, and you can buy something. Which VAT rates to apply? So we were not able to answer to that question as well. So we told them, sorry guys, we are not sure. Then the third possibility, and this is, by the way, great idea, some of the retailers have idea to put the kiosk system in the store. They have, of course, traditional environment, POSs and everything, and somewhere in the store, they just install kiosk system and they present, let's say, metaverse on that kiosk system in order to give the customer, end user, possibility to buy, for example, NFTs or whatever on the kiosk system. It's like a separate POS environment, let's call it like that. And then they ask us, can I do that? Is this fiscal environment or not? Are the transactions which we create on that way, on the kiosk system, fiscal or not? Unfortunately, our answer had to be, or has to be, sorry, we are not sure. But before we did that, before we gave them this answer, we analyzed 13 different fiscal countries, and we asked those guys, I mean the authorities, so it's not estimation, these are the real answers from the fiscal authorities in those countries. Please help us. Tell us, are those transactions which retailer creates on the kiosk system, whatever they are selling, doesn't matter if it's a metaverse-based product or real-life product, is that fiscal transaction or not? Out of 30 countries, 5 of them told us that it is a fiscal transaction independent on how do you pay. 2 of them told us, sorry, it's depending on the way how do you pay. If you pay in the store, whatever it means, it's a fiscal. But if you are using the credit card, are you paying in the store actually, or are you paying in the server where the card is processed? I don't know, but okay. The 2 of them told us it's not fiscal transaction at all. We are treating it as e-commerce, and in our country, it's e-commerce. It's not fiscal topic, so you can run it as a non-fiscal transaction. Fine. 4 of them were not sure at all. So 4 of them are still fighting with the concept, finding the way, is it fiscal or is it not fiscal? So this means you see now, why is that so difficult to say, if I do some kind of transactions in metaverse, if I present some kind of NFTs, and if I want to sell them in the store or even in the virtual environment, is it fiscal or not? We don't know. In order to serve our customers, because we want, of course, to help them to go into the metaverse, to install the solutions over there and to make the revenue, we have to find a solution for that. We have to understand this technology. We have to learn because we don't know nothing. And this is the reason why the company like we are, which is actually traditional oriented company, started to investigate crypto space. I personally started to learn about crypto topics. I spent several, maybe even hundreds of hours digging deep into the details, trying to find the solutions for us as a business. Does it make sense or does it make not sense for us to do it? And if we have to do something in that space, what shall we do? How can we help our customers? Very soon, I understood that it doesn't matter if I learn everything. I need to teach my team as well to know that, to understand that, so that we can decide together about the future of the company, of course, and about the future of our products. So that's why I created, during my own training and research, I created training materials. And these training materials, the target of those materials was to just to teach and to train the team which I'm surrounded with in our company about these topics. But then I love open source and I love the idea of crypto space. I love the community and all those philosophies of decentralization, democracy, and so on. And that's why I decided to make it open and to make it publicly available for everyone. That's why we are running today Masterclass. We are even teaching about the stuff that we learned with a very special focus. I will tell you in a few seconds more about that. And with one very important major principle that we are following. And the principle that we have is whatever we are teaching, we are doing it first by ourselves. So we call that make hands dirty, because I think it's totally different value if I tell you something what I learned from YouTube video, or if I tell you something what I really experienced by myself. Even to put it on the higher level, I purchased the Mutant Ape from the very famous collection from Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm sure many of you knows for them, in order to get the access to the resources of those guys. So it means to get the knowledge, tools, resources, access to the people, and so on. And based on all of these resources which are now available for us, we created, let's say, our own training, and of course we started even our own NFT project, which is educational project actually, where we are producing our own NFTs to help people like you are, people like we are, to teach and to learn more about this space. We are calling it Ape School, of course, because it's somehow related to those famous apes as well. What is very interesting, we have a second master class starting on the 2nd of May. And I would like to invite you to join us, definitely. This will be English-speaking class. And we have already now 150 registered participants. This is quite good. The lessons and the complete masterclass is still free, but in the future, we will put some price label on that. So I can really advise you, join us if you like to learn. There are 7 lessons with very interesting focus, and I think it's very from the educational point of view, very valuable for you. At the end of the lessons, every participant will get an NFT, and I just, on the left side of this slide, you see one of them, which we will give to our students, and we will not write the name of the student or the name of the company or the date of the masterclass on it. Why not? Because if we do that, we would destroy somehow the artistic part of that, the artistic value. Those NFTs will be created by the artists, and in this case, it's a Sara Kecman. It's a Serbian photography lady, which is really, really talented, and I think you see it on the screen as well. So I'm glad to be able to create real artistic, valuable NFTs. From the idea point of view, we are following, let's say, 5 principles in our masterclass, in our idea how to approach this area in crypto space. First, we want to do everything first by ourselves, and then to teach our customers how to do it, to help them, to advise them, and to teach everyone who wants to do something in that space as well. We are using always the real-life projects. You will see in 5 seconds or a little bit more, I will present you a real-life project that I saw in Dubai, I think 2 weeks ago, which is showing unbelievable innovative potential, let's say, or innovation potential, which is in that space, which is related to NFTs and blockchain technologies. You will be, I'm sure, totally surprised. So we are using always the real life projects to analyze them and to show what are the, let's say, weak points or what are the good points or maybe not that good points, so that you are able to make your own conclusions and to make your own projects, or maybe to analyze your own projects if you want to invest or whatever. We have always business in focus. So we are doing it with target that you as a business person or you as a business decision maker becomes able, let's say, to make your own decisions. How do you want to proceed in that area? And then what is most important, it's so-called postgraduate program. As long as you have our NFT, which you can get absolutely free during your participation on the webinar, you can access our postgraduate program, which is consisting of several different topics. For example, private Discord area. If you are using Word or whatever Microsoft product and you have some trouble, some problems, there are always some kind of companies which you can call and which are providing some kind of hotline services which could help you in that moment. In the crypto space, there is a problem that there are almost no companies which are providing any kind of help. And even the communities which are providing help in some cases are not really existing. So that's why we focused on that, because we know that we will need that kind of support. Just simple things, if I have to install, for example, digital wallet and there are 2 buttons, which button shall I click, and what will happen if I click the wrong one? So in these cases, this postgraduate program, this private area on the Discord, is the great help, I think, I'm totally sure, for everyone who is trying to do something in that space. So this is about, let's say, introduction, what we are doing and why we are doing that. Now let me switch into the area of the business concept that I wanted to show you. We are still, let's say, in the introduction area of this webinar, but this is very important for me to explain you and to give you the feeling what is possible in this area. You see in this picture, I was in the museum in Dubai. The exhibition was called Art Dubai, and one of the installation was this one that you see on this picture, in this slide. This is a simple plant which is somewhere in the space, surrounded by many different sensors. And those sensors are measuring things like temperature, I don't know, humidity, and so on. So lots of different data. These sensors and central unit, let's call it like that, is collecting all those data. And if the data are in the range that is good for the plant, and this is a certain values, of course, if they have certain values, then the NFT will be created. And NFT you can see on the wall on the left side. And on the next slide, I will show you the bigger picture as well. This NFT is containing visual representation, let's say, of this data. This NFT is created, like it's visualized, let's say, and it's immediately published on OpenSea. And OpenSea is something like Amazon, let's say, like a platform where you can buy and sell your NFTs. This means if I'm the visitor of this exhibition, first, I'm very interested in this kind of installation, and there were so many people which were standing around and checking, more than 100, so it was a big interest to see what's going on there. At the same time, I can take my mobile phone and I can purchase those kind of NFTs on the spot over this platform, which is called OpenSea. Now, from the business point of view, from the technological point of view, this is absolutely great. Why? Because first, this is the additional stream of revenue created for the museums out of nothing, more or less. So there is a installation which can provide additional stream of revenue for those museums which are showing it. This is one interesting thing. Another interesting thing from the technological point of view, complete everything what is happening over there means measuring, creating visual presentation, publishing it on the OpenSea, selling it, and so on, is controlled by the smart contract. And this is now the big topic. And this is now the key of the success of NFTs, smart contracts. Smart contracts are piece of code at the end, piece of software, which are inside NFT. And this is something which is giving the NFTs the real value. And this is what the retailers are recognizing. And I will tell you later how do they use that and what they are doing with that. But this is creating the big difference for the business that they are running till yesterday, let's say, which they run till yesterday, and related to the opportunities which they are getting now, the difference is really huge. But let me continue with this example in which I saw in Dubai. It's created by the German company called TerraZero. And the idea of the concept is to go and to take installation on the 4 different exhibitions. And in total, on all of those 4 different exhibitions, they wanted to create 1,600 NFTs, like products which they are selling. But then something happened in Dubai. Always in Dubai happen such things, and in retail general. Somebody just took plug in of the power supply plug out of the wall. So they just took it out. And the complete installation went dark in a second. There were no NFTs produced anymore because somebody just took the plug-in out of the wall. That's it. In every case, in every situation, in every usual and normal business, this would be a terrible situation because your production cannot produce. You are not producing products. You are not able to sell. If you are not able to sell the products which you don't have, you have a problem. You have trouble. In this case, and in the world of NFTs, it's something else. The consequence is something else. And the consequence is that all other NFTs, which will be created in the future, are becoming rare, more rare. And if something is rare in the NFT world, it costs more. So actually, the accident which happened in Dubai by taking power supply out was good for the NFTs because the value of NFTs increased. It's interesting. So there are different laws which are working and which are taking place in this space, in crypto space, and then that's why there are different rules of the games. Let's call it like that. My target in my masterclass, which we are running now and in the future, is to show you all those rules which are different than in typical and standard business. By the way, the NFT, one of those NFTs, and this is basically just the picture, you see it over there on the link on the left side. At the end, it's just the picture. Costs 0.7 Ether. 1 Ether is $2.6 thousand. So it's almost $2,000. So interesting revenue for those museums. I hope I was able to show you which kind of concepts and innovations are possible with those technologies, because this is unbelievable. And the value of the NFT is not the picture that you see, that you can see. This is not the value. The value is the concept, and the value is the smart contract which is running it. The value is the automation, and the value are the new chances which are just opening. In order to give you more details about that, and in order to really help you to understand all those topics, we will run today through several points. First, we will learn a little bit more about the basics of the technology, what is blockchain and how it's working. We will talk about cryptocurrencies, of course, because you cannot talk about blockchain and not to talk about cryptocurrencies, that this is really related to each other. And we will talk about NFTs. Then we will talk about different business concepts in retail and why retailers love these ideas and how do they use it and where is the power that they recognized. Then we will talk about regulation in this space, because it's really not really regulated, and I see lots of areas which should be regulated, definitely, and we will discuss this a little bit. And at the end, we will even compare the fiscal requirements which we know from the different countries with blockchain technology, in order to make a conclusion: is blockchain technology something that we can use to implement different fiscal laws? If yes, great. If no, okay, forget it. Let's wait for the future. But I can promise you, you will be surprised after comparing these two worlds. You will be very surprised. Yeah, let me finish and then you will see. So let's start with the history of the internet world. I'm sure that you know that, but I will just run through it very fast. We started several years ago, even before internet, and this is age that I quite understand and know. It was a time before internet. It was a time where you had to inform yourself by watching the TV stations, reading the newspapers, and so on. And this was quite centralized, because there were some companies which were offering centralized some kind of information, and if you wanted, you could access it and you could consume it. Perfect. This was the first stage, first step. Then the internet came, 1991, and I can say this phase, Web 1.0, took place till 2005, and this was the area where everything was static, let's say. So if you wanted to consume something, you had to open the browser and you had to consume some statical HTML pages, basically presentation of the information which you cannot influence. The information over there was decentralized. Although the companies that were producing those content were maybe centralized, but the server, internet server, and everything was decentralized, and everybody could install his own page and provide information. Web 2.0 started 2005, and it's still ongoing, let's say, and there are some huge differences now if you compare it with the history. We have, everything is ruled by the big companies, of course. The big companies are taking you as a production plant, let's say, which is producing the data, and they use your data to make their own business. So this means actually you are the product. You are not the consumer. You are the product. The pages are not static anymore. They are dynamic. So you can read and write content. You can consume and use, let's say, social networks. You can comment and so on. By that, it's dynamic. But actually, you are not producing content. You are giving your data to those centralized companies which are keeping the data centralized and which are using the data how they want. The next stage, and this is now the point where we are today, this is the revolution which is happening. The owner of the data is not anymore the company. Now you are the owner of your own data. The companies are not influencing anymore the space. The decentralization is happening. They cannot influence the space because data are now decentralized or spread over several servers. You can even tokenize your data. You can put ID on that. I will explain later what does it mean exactly. And you can sell that. You can sell your own data. You are master of your data. And you can put even the smart contracts, means intelligence, in those data, and you can influence what is happening with those data. This is something which we call Web 3.0. And the basic for those changes which are just happening now are the technologies that we will talk today about. So this is first, of course, blockchain. What is blockchain? Let me tell you first what is blockchain not. It's a not new technology. It's not something which was invented yesterday. It's a quite old technology, but combination of the different use cases and philosophy, this is something what is new. We will talk about that. Then there is a big misunderstanding. People think that blockchain is equal cryptocurrency. No, it's not. Cryptocurrency is existing on the blockchain, and cryptocurrency cannot exist without blockchain. But blockchain can exist without cryptocurrency. Actually, cryptocurrency was invented just to help people which are working on the blockchain as nodes to get rewarded. So if they do some kind of job, the network pays them with cryptocurrency. This was the initial thought. But then somebody came from outside and saw that, and then the value was created, and then the cryptocurrencies are what they are today. We will talk about that in a second, a little bit later. Let me explain you what is the technology behind blockchain. It's a very, 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 very simple. It's just a table. It's like an Excel sheet. Nothing more, really. It's an Excel sheet, and you have several lines in this Excel sheet, and the same Excel sheet is saved over several network nodes or computers. Because it's the same Excel sheet which is saved on several different computers, we have typical redundant system. And this means if one of those nodes is broken, or maybe data are wrong or whatever, no problem at all, because all other nodes can reconstruct the data and run the synchronization, and this is quite secure. The data will be there very fast again. So it's an Excel sheet which is distributed, decentralized over several network nodes, of course, and each line in this table is actually one transaction. Okay, and transaction by itself is very simple. It's just telling who is sending money to whom. There is nothing more. There are some more data, but basically this is that. And if you combine several transactions together, you get block. That this is the block which is in the name blockchain. Now let us explain the chain. If you create this block over several lines in this Excel sheet, and then you create a unique identifier like a number, and it is actually a number, and you use this identifier for the next block to create the next identifier, and then you create the identifier for the next block, and then for the next block. By that, you are creating the chain. So now you have the blocks, and now you have the chain, and that together, it's called blockchain. So very simple. And these numbers, which are identifiers, let's say, they are created by the certain cryptography function, which is called hash functionality, hash algorithm. And this is creating always a number which is 256-bit long. Whatever you put in that function, even if you put the complete book at the end of this functionality of this function, you will get number which is 256-bit long. And what is very important about this functionality, about this algorithm, is that you cannot decrypt it. So you cannot find, based on the output of the functionality, you can never conclude what was the input. So that this is not reversible functionality. And this is what is making this system very, very secure. First, you cannot break the chain just like that. If you do that, the network would immediately know that, because the next block would not fit to the previous one. So this is the one point. And the second point, you cannot decode it, and you cannot never know what was in the previous block, because the hash functionality is not like that you can reverse it. So the complete database is just read-only, let's say. Better to say it's immutable. You cannot change the data, but you can add the data. So the data can be added, but not everybody can add the data. Only the validators of the blocks of the transactions can do that. And this process of validating the data, if they can be added to the table or not, it's called mining. So mining doesn't mean that somebody is searching for some, I don't know, great diamonds or whatever, or cryptocurrency. Mining means that somebody is doing a special mathematical algorithm to validate if the data can be attached on that Excel sheet blockchain. So this validation, mining, can happen on several different ways. One way, which is the most common and the oldest, let's say, is called proof of work. Proof of work is, let's say, like a competition. Imagine that you have, I don't know, 100 nodes which are able to validate, and all of them are doing validation, means mining, at the same moment. This is a typical characteristic of the proof of work concept. So everybody is trying to validate certain blocks at the same time. You can imagine if every computer is doing the mathematical complex job at the same time, power consumption is going up. And if power consumption is going up, the costs are going up. So that's why everybody think, and it's basically true, that the blockchain technology is expensive. What is actually expensive? This is the power that you need in order to run all those validations at the same time. But this is just for the proof of work concept, proof of work algorithm. There are alternatives, and one of them is called proof of stake. And this is a concept like this, that just one node or maybe a few more are doing the validation. So you don't need the 100 nodes to do it, just one is doing that. And this is decreasing the cost dramatically. So if you have the blockchains which are running proof of work, they are very expensive. If you have the blockchains which are running on the algorithm called proof of stake, they are not expensive at all. Then the next very important characteristic, blockchain is peer-to-peer network. Peer-to-peer means that I don't need any kind of somebody in between in order to do something or to create transaction. For example, if I want to send you some money, I don't need any kind of banks in between to do that for me. I do it directly, I send it directly to you. So this means peer-to-peer. If we talk about security, and this is now my favorite part, because the blockchain is really, really secure. There are several aspects. I took in this moment just 4 of them to explain you the security. One is related to the redundancy of the data. If you have the same data over several nodes, it's clear, it's very secure. If something happened with the data, you can restore them very easy. The next point, those chaining topics that I just explained you, it's very difficult to manipulate all of those blocks, but you should do that if you want to manipulate something. It's not enough to manipulate one block. Everybody would see that, and it will be immediately clear that somebody is manipulating. Okay, the next 2 points are related to the security, and they are very important as well. And these are 2 topics. First, I have to be sure that if you send me some data, I have to be sure that you are really the source and not some kind of hacker or whoever. This is one point. And the second point, I have to be sure that what you are sending to me is exactly what I should receive, or what I'm receiving is what you are sending. That's what I mean. These 2 aspects are protected by 2 kinds of algorithm. The one to protect or to ensure that you are the person that is sending something. This is done by the private and public key. I think you know that. If I have your public key and you code some data, I can decode them and I can see, okay, you are really the guy who is sending me the data. Perfect. Regarding the topic, are the data really not manipulated if I receive them? This is also quite, let's say, easy to do. The hash functionality is helping by that. If I want to send you some data, I send you the data and the hash value of those data. So I'm sending you the clear data without coding, without anything, and I am sending you the hash value of that. If you receive the data, you take the original data and you create the same hash value by the same hash functionality. And now you can compare. If my hash value that I send to you is same like a hash value that you created, this means the data was not manipulated and you received what you should receive. Simple concept, but very powerful. And these 4 topics, these are ensuring that the network is very, very, very secure. Okay, and then there are two additional topics that I want to tell you, characteristics of the network. One, everything is everything is based on anonymity. So I can install the wallet, I can use the wallet, I can buy something, I can send money, I can receive money, but nobody knows that I am personally owning that wallet. That this can be totally anonymous. What is also very interesting, the network is totally transparent. So this means if I use my wallet, which I installed to do some kind of transactions, you can check my wallet, content of my wallet, and you can see everything, what I was doing yesterday, what are the values of the transactions, everything. But you don't know who is behind the transaction. You don't know who is behind the wallet. So that's why it's interesting. You see it, but you don't know exactly who is doing it as a person. So if these are the basic characteristics and these are the basic algorithms which are securing the way how blockchain is working. Now let me give you some overview about the different types of the blockchain, because this is important, especially if we are talking about infrastructural questions, about country governments and so on. So there are, let's say, two groups of the networks. There are networks which are permissionless, so means everybody can join them. I don't need to ask anyone to do it. I just install the node, means wallet, and I access it and I can use it. And on the other side, there are networks where I have to access them by asking for permission. I need some kind of access rights. And those access rights are usually given by some kind of authorities. I don't mean now governments. I mean authorities means the guy who is controlling the network. It can be company, it can be several companies like consortium or whoever. So somebody is controlling it. And then there is a third group. It's like a combination of those two networks. Part of the network is like that everybody can access it, and part of the network is like that I need special permission to access them. This is the differentiation which we have. If we compare those networks a little bit more in detail, then we can see that the public networks, everybody can join them, as I told you, and private networks need, of course, some kind of permissions and access rights in order to join them. If we talk about scalability, the public networks are not really scalable. Why? Because everybody can join them, nobody controls them, nobody is taking care of the load. So I can join, I can be miner, do the mining, and I can cause the workload, let's say. I can cause the problems as well. In the private networks, there is authority which is controlling who is doing what if he is joining the network. And then this authority can control it and make it scalable as they want. If we are talking about power consumption, it's not the question if the network is public or private. And if I'm talking about power consumption, I'm talking about the costs, because this is the major reason for the costs. So independent, if the network is private or public, the costs are the same, actually, because they are depending on the algorithm which is used to mine, means to validate the blocks. If I'm using the proof of work, it will be expensive. If I'm using proof of stake, it will not be expensive. So this is the major difference. Regarding authority, the public networks are decentralized. Decentralized in the in relation to who is controlling them. There is nobody who is controlling them. The network is controlling itself by itself. In the private area, datas or private networks, datas are still decentralized. So I still have the table, Excel table all around the network, but there is authority, centralized authority that is controlling all of that. That is telling which node is doing what and who can access it, who cannot access it, and so on. If we talk about the speed, the private networks are always faster, because I can, as a central authority, I can manage my network on that way that it's faster. In public environment, in public network, I cannot do that, because I'm just joining the network and I'm running in, and that's it. And then I'm hoping that everything is going well. So far, so good about the blockchain. These are the basics. I'm sure that you don't need more in order to understand the business concepts on behind. Let's talk in the moment about cryptocurrency. What is actually cryptocurrency, and what is the difference between cryptocurrency and digital currency? I think this is very important to understand. First, I see the cryptocurrency, but only I see it like that, as evolution or next step in the evolution of the typical and standard money. It's coming directly after digital money, and it's now. I see it in the moment as something which is happening as a revolution now. Cryptocurrency is digital as well. So that's why the difference between digital currency and cryptocurrency is maybe not that easy to understand immediately. But if you understand the digital currency as a digital representation of official fiat money, means officially accepted and by law regulated money, then it's clear. So it's just a digital currency is just a digital representation of the fiat money. Fiat money means the money which is only money which is accepted by the law and where the law says you have to use that. Cryptocurrency on the other side is a value, crypto value, which is crypted, means secured, living on the blockchain, which is also digital, of course, but it's not fiat money. It's not centralized. There is no authority in the country telling you that you have to use it on this or that way. Digital money is always centralized. Cryptocurrency is always decentralized because it's living on the blockchain. Don't forget, if the cryptocurrency is living on the blockchain, this means that it is enjoying all of those characteristics of the blockchain, like decentralization, immutability, redundancy, security, and so on. And this is already very good, and this is really nice and perfect and better than standard money, great. But the biggest difference, and this is what I like most, is the problem of the double spending. The normal money, fiat money, is not solving the problem of double spending. The only way how let's say, central banks and all other banks are solving this problem is by trust. So this means I'm trusting the bank that they will not write $100 that I have on my account twice. I trust them. So I trust them that if I have $100 and if I spend them, that they will write on my account $0. But if they would like, they could write 100 again. And I could spend more or less same $100 because it's digital twice. So this means they are solving the problem of double spending only by trust. And we are giving them that trust that they are really doing proper job and that they are not allowing that somebody is spending $100 twice. Cryptocurrency is solving this problem by technology, by algorithm. So you cannot use same Bitcoin twice. No way for that. And this is the power of cryptocurrency as I see it. You don't need any bank. You don't need any kind of central authority that is controlling that money. It's controlled by technology. And of course, you need the trust to technology. This is, of course. But at the end, the algorithm is controlling it. The oldest cryptocurrency in the world, let's say, is Bitcoin. And we call it even mother of all other cryptocurrencies because it's open source. And all others were more or less used or created based on Bitcoin. Bitcoin was kind of template which was used then for all others. Just for you to know, I mentioned some of them on the slide. So there is Ether on the network called Ethereum. Then you have Solana, Cardano, and so on and so on. In total, more than 10,000. In the moment, there are more than 10,000 cryptocurrencies. Everybody can create one, and almost daily there are coming new. On the right side of the screen, you see one coin. It's called APE coin. It's the newest, as I know at least, the newest cryptocurrency created just 1 week ago. And immediately after creation, it jumps to around $12 in the moment. By the way, it's created by the same company that created the ape that I showed you on the beginning, this one. So this could be the reason why it jumped that much. And now we are coming to the NFTs. And NFTs, this is what is very special. This is making, I think the NFTs are like a use of the technologies before. It's I like to compare them with the smart barcodes because they have intelligence and they are able to put the label on whatever we like. And this is the revolution in the smart codes, in the NFTs, smart contracts, and barcodes. So what is actually NFT? NFT is non-fungible token. Non-fungible means it's a unique, basically. So you cannot have two tokens which are same. They are all unique. And this is now the characteristic of the blockchain. I told you about the lines and that you cannot change them and so on. This is that characteristic. And then it's a token. What is actually token? Token is nothing actually. It's something that represents something, represent values or represent assets or whatever. So you can take a gift card, for example, like typical gift card in the retail, It's a plastic. There is no real value. It's maybe a few cents because it's just a cheap material. But it can represent maybe $100, which you can use to buy whatever in that particular store. So this is a typical token. This is typical non-fungible token. You use it and that's it. What are the assets that these tokens could represent? First, they are digital, of course. Second, they could be physical, but there are also abstract assets. And one of the abstract assets would be knowledge. So even the knowledge is tokenized, or you can put the token on the knowledge. So this is very interesting. The NFTs are living only on the blockchain. You cannot have them separated from the blockchain. That's why they are enjoying all the characteristics that blockchain has: immutability, security, redundancy, and so on. But technically, if we analyze it technically, actually, NFT is a set of data, nothing else. It's a set of data. It's not picture. Don't mix that. I showed you on the beginning this NFT, and I told you you will get this NFT. Actually, you will not get the picture. You will get the set of the data, which has two parts. One part which is pointing to the picture or to some other kind of assets, to the car, to the house, to the contract, to the knowledge, to whatever. And there is intelligence inside. This intelligence is called smart contract. And now if you combine these two things, this is the revolution. So what you are getting if you buy the NFT? You get a set of the data which you can transfer and transport through the time and through the space. This means I can take my part data that I have, that I own, and I can give it to you, and you give me $5 or whatever, so I can trade it. And this is what is making this very, very special. So it's for the first time in human history that I'm able to create unique IDs with intelligence, which are pointing to the digital assets. This was never before. And now imagine which kind of concepts can you create with that. And retailer understood that, and they are doing that. They are using it. And now I will show you a little bit more about that, what are retailers using. Now imagine that this is a product that retailer want to sell. And this is the set of the data that I just told you, which is containing, let's say, smart contract, means intelligence, and which is containing the link to this data, okay? And now I'm producer of this product. I produce this product and I produce this data, and I want to move it to the store. So I will move this data and product together over the blockchain to the next station. And next station could be maybe the delivery guy. Delivery guy will buy from me the data which are pointing to the product, and I will see it absolutely transparent on the blockchain that he done that. So here it will be written in the table, in the blockchain. Then this delivery guy is moving the data to the warehouse. In the warehouse is buying from the delivery guy the same data and the product, and it's moving, let's say, towards store step further. So this means I created by the idea of digital ID or digital barcode, absolutely traceability. I created traceability of the products. And you know, in retail, traceability is unbelievably important, especially if you are talking about food and food-related products. It's very important, but not only, even in other retail areas as well. And this is what retailers are already using. So many retailers, for example, Carrefour implemented a system where they are running this kind of traceability systems based on the blockchain. And this is nothing else than selling NFT, which is moving from hand to hand, because I'm selling it, let's say, through the supply chain. Great. So, but if we are thinking a little bit further, and now we think about digital cards, means customer cards, which are now in the area of NFTs 100% digital. So I don't need any cards anymore, which are identifying me as a customer. It's enough that I have an NFT. If I have tomorrow, for example, if you win this NFT, what I am showing you here, this one, you are the customer that I tagged. I gave you a tag. I gave you a barcode. You are taking your barcode, means your NFT with you. And if I combine some kind of retail interesting customer loyalty programs with that, I can make unbelievable things. I can make immediately something like this interactive. So if you come with your NFT, means with your customer loyalty card, to this environment, and I can program my smart contracts on that way that they recognize you, I can give you some kind of discount, some kind of reward, some kind of nice wordings, or whatever you like. Now there is no limit anymore to create any kind of very interesting customer loyalty concept. This is next step why the retailers loves this, because it's opening totally new opportunities in the customer loyalty area. If we talk about new business concepts, now coming back to this example that I just show you, imagine that we need to store this product, very special environment. Let's say we need, I don't know, special temperature, and it should not move between certain amount of Celsius. So what is the problem if I have it? I have to create this kind of environment in my home. If the retailer is providing for me the storage of this system, I would pay for that. But how to sell then the product? Easily. He is selling the data which are pointing to this product. So this means the product that retailer is selling is the data or are the data, and the service which is retailer offering is storage of the product. This, you can do that only if you have a unique connection between data and the product. Great idea. And these concepts are really now popping up, and there are really companies which are offering digital ownership. Let's say you buy the digital ownership, but the product that you own is still in the environment of the customer, of the retailer, sorry. Of course, because retailer can prepare the environment better than you. They can take care of your I don't know, temperature, whatever is needed in order to have the good shape of the product. Great. If you think about the retailers like Wrangler or whatever, they are selling now concept tickets by selling the NFTs. So they sell an NFT, and what you get is, of course, NFTs and some additional customer loyalty benefits, but you get concert tickets as well. So what is now the real product? Is it concert ticket or is it NFT? It's not that easy anymore. And if we talk now about fiscalization, what is the VAT rate that I have to apply? Is it related to the concert ticket? Is that group of the products, or is it digital asset which I'm selling here? Or maybe both. Not easy topic, but for the retailers, perfect, great. They can sell new products immediately or now. If you think about new products, unbelievable. They are selling today clothes for the avatars. They are selling game items. They are selling all the products which they never had in their portfolio. Now they have it. So they extended the product portfolio only because of the blockchain, metaverse, and NFTs. And I'm not talking about some crazy ideas and metaverse, some fantasy worlds. No, I'm talking about a piece of data which is pointing to the product. You can call it however you want, metaverse, e-commerce, kiosk, call it however you want. Actually, it's data pointing to the NFT. Perfect. And now let's assume that retailers don't want to do that. Nothing of that. They don't recognize the power of the smart contracts. They don't recognize how can they create the new customer loyalties, new business concepts, whatever, everything. What is the major, maybe you can even type it in the chat. What do you think? What is the major key for the success of traditional retailers who is running the stores? What is the major key? If you have an idea, just type it. There are three keys. Maybe you can write, and this is very famous. So if you know, just write it. If not, I will tell you in 1 second. There are three key successes, or the most important factors in order that the retailer is successful. Three of them. Location, location, and location. Only those three. If you are on the right location, and if you are on the right location, and if you are on the right location, you will be successful. This is key of the retailer success. And now, just imagine, where are the consumers today? In metaverse. They are running around like avatars. They are playing the games. They are doing this kind of stuff. So this means location, location, location. Retailer has to go to the metaverse. No other chance. Even if he don't like the technology, even if he don't understand it, he will go there because the customers are there. And just to prove you what I'm talking about, some weeks ago, Carrefour bought land in Sandbox. Sandbox is actually a play or game environment, and buying land there for supermarket chain, this was very strange for me. But location, location, location. Now it's not strange, right? So if you want to know more about what are retailers doing in NFT space, in crypto space, and so on, we created a special service for you, free of charge. It's an internet page called NFTsinretail.com, and we are collecting all the information about what are retailers doing actually around the world in metaverse, and we are publishing them on one page. So it's quite interesting to understand and to see what's going on in the world. On the other side, now we discussed a little bit retailers, and we came to conclusion that retailers don't have other chance than to go there where the customers are. With technology or without technology, he has to be there. Okay, but what are doing the technology providers like we are? What is happening over there? I have an example for that as well. So the companies like, for example, Shopify, which is one of the leading POS software providers in the world, and even more in the e-commerce world, but they have also the POS solution. Over there on this slide, you see the profile picture of the guys called Tobias Lütke. He's the owner of the company and CEO. And you see how is his profile looking like. It's NFT. So this is clearly showing the commitment of this guy and of this company. And by the way, this POS solution is one of the first, at least that I know, that created the functionality which is allowing retailer to sell the NFTs on the POS like any other product. You don't need any kind of cryptocurrency, exchange office, or whatever. If you ask me if this is fiscal, yes, it is, because it's a fiscal transaction in fiscal country. You have to pay your taxes and so on. But they done it really good without taking care of cryptocurrencies. They are using fiat currency, so the best possible way. So this is answering the question, what are the technology providers doing? And my presentation today is now, I think, absolutely, or during my presentation now, it's totally clear why we are talking about crypto space and crypto world as well. You see, the reason is absolutely the same. Okay, what about regulations? And this is now a very important topic. There are almost no regulations. And now look on that from the different perspective. If there are no regulations, almost no regulations, and retailers are doing it anyhow, how important is this for them? Because they are risking a lot, because they're doing something and maybe it's totally wrong. Maybe they have to pay fines or whatever. So they are risking, they're taking big risks just because they see it as very, very important. Okay, on the other side, if we talk about regulations, there are so many things which are not regulated, like customer protection. There is no customer protection. There are so many scammers in that space. If something has happened, nobody takes care of you. VAT, it's not really clear which kind of VAT rates you have to pay in which situations, really not clear. Legal aspects of smart contracts. Smart contracts are digital contracts which are coded, hard-coded. So it's written inside, if you buy something from me, I will do that, and then it's done automatically. But what about legal side of that? What's happened if I do something or I not provide my part of the contract, I don't do it? What is the legal aspect of that? It's not really clear. What about use of cryptocurrencies? In many countries, it's not regulated at all. What about intellectual property and ownership? It's not really regulated. There are certain countries in the world, and especially in Europe, which just issued some of very interesting laws regarding digital assets and ownership, and they are really good, but there are not that many countries doing that. So what does it mean actually? Okay, existing used technologies, there are lots of existing and used technologies. They cannot regulate, and they cannot be used to regulate blockchain world. They cannot regulate metaverse. They cannot regulate crypto space and so on. But the new technologies like blockchain, they could be maybe used to regulate the old world. I don't know. But we will, in the next slide, we will compare these two worlds, and then we will know even more. But in the moment, we can make a conclusion. We have just two possibilities. Either we will implement whatever we are doing, two different technologies, the old one, which is used today, and the new one, which is coming into metaverse and which is everybody anyhow using on this way. Or we will use just the new technology and we will migrate the old world to the new technology. I don't see any third possibility or any third way. So we can do nothing, but then the market will do everything by itself, which is already doing in the moment. If we now talk about fiscalization, and if we go, let's say, more into the detail about the fiscalization, what we done, we wanted to analyze, let's say, the typical fiscal requirements, which we know around the world and which are happening in different countries. We want to understand them first. That's what we are daily doing. And then we wanted to map them with the basic characteristics of the technology. One of the important topics that we have to analyze and to understand is the blockchain technology capable of handling, let's say, fiscal transactions in the complete country, in the whole, let's say, environment of one country. In order to understand that, we analyzed two countries as an example. One small country like Croatia and a big country like Germany. In the small country with around 4.5 million people, you have a fiscal law which is online fiscal law. This means that every retailer has to send his data automatically, immediately, real time, let's say, to get some kind of confirmation of the fiscal authority, to get feedback and to print the fiscal receipt. Okay, perfect. They have around 44 transactions per second. I'm not now calculating, this is average. I'm not calculating the peaks. By the way, the data that you see on these pictures are real life data provided by the authority, so it's not estimation. The peaks that you see are absolutely clear. They are related to the summertime. Lots of tourists are coming to Croatia. Then you have, of course, more transactions. This means I think the average is 44. This is okay. And the peak could be around 200, 300, maybe 400 transactions per second in the summertime. If we now compare or take the data, analyze the data of Germany. Germany is a very big country, of course, very developed retail, for sure. They have a different fiscal law. They are using hardware and software. The retailer can decide which kind of concept he wants to use. And if you calculate the number of the transactions, which are fiscal transactions, which are produced in Germany, then we have following picture. We analyzed two companies and we analyzed official statements of those companies. It's not our estimation. So Fiscali is one of the companies. They are telling the publicity that they are handling 800 transactions per second, in the peak around 2,500. And the second provider in Germany, software provider, cloud-based solution provider, is so-called Deutsche Fiscal. They are telling the publicity that they are handling around 300 transactions per second. And now we estimate the rest of the market based on the market shares. We know that other providers are hardware-based fiscal providers like Diebold Nixdorf, Epson, and Swissbit. And based on the shares, market shares that they had or they have, we estimated the number of the transactions. This is the only number which we estimated. And this is around 1,900 transactions per second. Altogether, we are not more, or maybe around 3,000 transactions per second. Just another comparison for you to have all the numbers in your head, and then we will go into the technology, comparison of technology. Visa worldwide is capable of handling 24,000 transactions per second. In real life, they are not handling and not working with more than 4,000 transactions. Okay, so the technology is configured or created like that they are able to do that, but they are publicly announcing that they are handling in average around 4,000 transactions. Just for you to understand, to see where we are. Now let's go a little bit more in detail. On the right side, you see fiscalization requirements, fiscal requirements. In the middle, you see blockchain. And on the left side, you see the functions, let's say, that we compared. If we talk about identification is very important in the fiscal environment because you have to know who is sending the data and you have to be sure that the guy who is sending is really that guy, that nobody's doing some kind of scams. In most of the countries, the identification of the customers in the fiscal environment is done by the private and public key. Same like in blockchain, private and public key. You have to secure that the data that you are sending to the authority are really the data that you are sending. In some countries, it's used hash functionality. In some others, is almost nothing used. But in some of them, hash functionality. In blockchain, we are using hash functionality. So it's really secured. On fiscal side, in some of them is really secured, not all of them. If we are talking about access to the network, to the functionality, to the authority, and so on, in the blockchain, in order to access the blockchain, in order to access this network, you need piece of hardware or piece of software which is storing your private and public key. This is kind of key to access it. In the fiscalization area, you need the same. You need hardware or software or both with your public and private key in order to access it. For example, in Austria, you need cards, smart cards, which are identifying you and which are signing the transaction. Let's say this is like a key to access the network. In Croatia, it's very similar, but you need a PC which is storing the certificate, which are identifying you so that you are able to send your data. Okay, if we are talking about security of the data, fiscal environment never has a kind of redundancy because, of course, it's centralized. Maybe you have kind of backup servers on the central system. Sure, for sure you have this. But the network by itself is not redundant. The network of the blockchain is always redundant. But if it's private, then you control which node is having the data. So it's not freely that everybody can take and do whatever he wants. Let's talk about maximal transactions number. And this is now why we calculated what I showed you slide before. And here is now one point which blew my mind. And this was the topic regarding to Bitcoin. So the number of the transactions, maximal number of the transaction on the Bitcoin network is just 7 transactions per second. And this is what somebody or many people are using as a, let's say, point telling you that the blockchain is not capable of doing more, it's not suitable for big systems and so on. Guys, 7 transactions per second is not dictated by the technology, it's dictated by the algorithm. So the blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain, wants to keep the number that low because they are controlling the supply of the Bitcoin, because they don't want to allow inflation. That's why they are controlling the speed of the supply. Very simple mechanism. This means as long as you are using Bitcoin algorithm, it will always be around one transaction or one block every 10 minutes. And even if you have very powerful computers in your network, very big servers, the algorithm will create this problem which everybody has to solve, that difficult that those computers cannot solve it. Even they cannot solve it. And that's why it will be again 10 minutes per block. So this is algorithmic thing and not technological thing. And this, I didn't know that. This was really, for me, something like, wow, I didn't know that. If we go now into the details about other networks, Ethereum is the second one, which is very famous. All NFTs are mostly of this network. They are capable of handling 15 transactions per second. But in the new version, which will be updated and installed in the middle of the year, they will handle 100,000 transactions. And if we talk about Solana, Solana is handling now, in this version which they have, more than 700 transactions per second. Hey, this is 200 times Germany. There are 200 countries in the world. There are no more. So if we install the blockchain on Solana for the whole world could run the transactions, let's say, over one blockchain. Of course, this is just, I'm just kidding. It's not possible, but numbers are not lying. Okay, if we talk about anonymous, being anonymous, in the blockchain, I call it pseudo-anonymous because you have to buy somehow maybe some hardware, or you have to identify your network access by the network provider, or it's not 100% anonymous, but more or less from the blockchain network perspective, it is. In the fiscalization, nothing is anonymous. So everybody knows exactly who is sending the data and who is doing what. Only the end user is not known, who is, let's say, producing the transaction, who is responsible for the transaction. But the retailers are never anonymous. If you are in blockchain, you can be even as a retailer anonymous. If we are talking about access, in the fiscalization, you always need permission. I cannot come into France and just access the network which is there. No way. I need the numbers and allowed permissions and so on. But that's it. Okay, regarding environment protection, we talked about proof of work algorithm, which is really not efficient because all the computers are doing the same job at the same time. This is not good for the environment, definitely, because power supply is really huge that you need. But if we are talking about proof of stake concept, then it's very efficient and the costs are very small. On the side of fiscalization, the impact on the environment is very small, but I would like to say it's more or less not transparent because nobody ever calculated how much power supply is needed to run the fiscal printer. I'm sure it's more than to run the normal typical printer. So there is an influence of the fiscal environment on the environment itself, but it's not really calculated and not really transparent. Immutability, it's a very important thing. The chaining of the transactions in the blockchain is that what is giving to the blockchain immutability. Absolutely same concept we have in many fiscal countries where the transactions are chained to each other in order to understand and see if one of the transactions is manipulated, no difference. The unique transaction number, this is very important in the fiscal countries, but mostly it's on the local level, on the level of the store and company-wide, but not because the tax authority don't want to have one numbering around the country. It's simply not possible from a technological point of view, because there is no central system which can provide you these kind of numbers. In the blockchain technology, the network by itself is producing unique tokens, unique transactions. There is unique numbering of every transaction. Even more, on the blockchain, you can put intelligence, and this is what contract in the transaction, in the NFT. On the fiscalization, you can do what you want, and that's no intelligence inside.
Hi, Darko. I'm sorry. We have really, really weird sound from you. It's like a techie kind of noise. And everyone hears it like that.
Shall I start maybe the browser? Maybe this is the point. Is it always on or just happening?
It's completely off. Completely off.
Let me restart the browser, okay?
Start it again, please.
Yeah, I will restart the browser, okay?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Like a robot.
Let me try.
Does everyone hear me properly? Yes, like transformers or robots. Yeah, 100%. Thanks for bearing with us until the end. This is a really complex topic, so we are a little bit out of our timeline, but we are coming to the end, only 4 more slides, so you know that you can stay with us for a couple of more minutes. And definitely.
So I hope I'm back now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better. No robots.
I hope so. I don't know what's wrong with my browser. So we had this several times. I think the people from the Masterclass can confirm that.
Yeah.
So suddenly after 1 hour or something like that, sorry for that. So tell me, please, what was the last that you could hear? I will simply continue with unique transaction number.
Just continue. It was only for a couple of seconds.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so one of the big points is the unique transaction number, and in the area of fiscalization, it's important, of course, but it's mostly on the local level, in the store or even in the company, and this is what fiscal authority definitely needs. But on the blockchain technology and in that kind of environment, the universal numbering, or let's say unique transactions numbers, are by nature in the technology. So even if I use the blockchain technology countrywide, I would have countrywide unique transactioning number, which is absolutely perfect. And I think fiscal authorities would love that. But even more, I can put in those transactions some kind of intelligence. On the blockchain, we are calling that smart contracts. In the fiscalization, you cannot put any kind of intelligence. You have what you have, and that's it. But it's nice to have intelligence in the NFTs and in the transaction itself, for sure. If we talk about digital receipts, blockchain technology is digital by the nature. It's let's say nobody knows who is producing the transaction, so the complete topics related to the anonymity and to be anonymous as an end user are already in the blockchain implemented. If you want to run the digital receipt strategies in the fiscal country, you have always to take care about some kind of anonymity, data protection, and all those additional laws which are different in the fiscal countries. Blockchain is doing it by the nature, let's say, protecting the end user or data of the end user. Okay, so what we can conclude in total? We can conclude that retailer will do metaverse, blockchain, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies anyhow. He has to do it because the end users are there. What we saw just in these tables that I compared with each other, the blockchain technology can do much more than fiscalization is requiring today. And it's covering definitely all the requirements, and it's offering even much more. So I think that blockchain technology is absolutely ready to be the base for the migration of the old systems and for the regulation of the new systems. At the end, everybody will have to decide two systems at the same time, the old one and the new one, or the migration. I think the migration would be the best way. I promised you in the beginning to tell you what is needed to do in order to win this kind of cat picture, which is not picture, which is a set of data with intelligence inside. Very simple. Just visit our Discord server. It's free, of course. Go to the giveaways channel and react. React means just click on this small icon. That's it. After 2 days, we will have a lucky winner. Then you send me your digital wallet. So you have to learn, you have to make your hands dirty. You have to install digital wallet. And I will send you this NFT. 100 euros or $100 are yours. Quite easy. So thank you very much. I want to invite you again to our masterclass. If you want to go more in detail about all these topics, that's what we are doing in the masterclasses. And now I'm sure you know and you see why it's needed several classes, 6, maybe 7, in order really to go into the details and to cover all those topics. I hope you liked this presentation, and sorry that I took 20 minutes more, or 10 minutes more. Sorry for that. If you have questions, no problem at all. Either you can type into the chat, or if you raise your hand, Theodora can give you the micro, and then you can ask as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Darko, so much for an amazing presentation, even though we've had a little bit of technical problems. For everyone,
sorry for that.
Chat box, that is absolutely okay. If you have any questions, we can definitely answer 1 or 2 at the moment. Everybody's thanking for a great presentation. And before we end, I would also like to send a link to everyone, since you mentioned the amazing giveaway we have at our Discord server. And in order to receive the NFT, you have to have your MetaMask or some other kind of digital wallet. So this is the explanation link where Darko shared how to install it the best way. This video is in Serbian, but definitely you can find some others in English as well. Also, I will send you the link to join our Discord server one more time. So you can enter the giveaway and be a part of our community. I see we don't have any questions in the moment. So if you do have some, definitely reach out to us, because we are here to share the knowledge and expand the community. So with the right knowledge, we can definitely all make the right decision regarding business or maybe some personal projects. Why not? I see Branislav writing down. I'm just gonna see if that is the question. But Maria too as well, or maybe they're just saying thank you as well. We will see. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for attending today's event. Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much. This will, like other parts of Darko's masterclass, will be on the YouTube channel, so you will have a chance to watch it and share it with others. Like Darko mentioned, the knowledge we're gathering through our process, we want to share with others. So if you do the same, that would be our win for the day. Am I right, Darko?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much to everyone. Please join us on the masterclass, because then we can really go into the details. Then we have more time, and I can promise you this area, this space is so amazing. There are so many interesting business concepts. I totally understand retailers, which are so happy and so excited about these new opportunities. Yeah, so there must be something if they are so excited about that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing and fantastic rest of the day, whether you're in Europe or in North America or maybe some other part of the world. And until next time, take care. We will see you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye,
See you
everyone.
soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.